Hey, good morning. This is Joe from Citrus County Porch Life, bringing you the AA word of the day for December 13th, 2024. And the word for today is thinking of others. Our very lives as ex problem drinkers depend upon our constant thought of others and how we may help their needs. And this is from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, page 20. And here's the reflection commentary. Thinking of others has never come easily to me. Even when I try to work the AA program, I'm prone to thinking, how do I feel today? Am I happy, joyous, and free? The program tells me that my thoughts must reach out to those around me. Would that the newcomer welcome someone to talk to? That person looks a little unhappy today. Maybe I could cheer them up. It's only when I forget my problems and reach out to contribute. Don't get neuropathy in your hands. I can't turn a page. I'll start that sentence again. Sorry. It's only when I forget my problems and reach out to others to contribute something to others that I can begin to attain the serenity and the God consciousness I seek. So, this is a little different quote, but you would think it would be from step 12, carrying the message to our fellow alcoholics. And for me, the progression where I really actually cared, I'll tell you, when I started in the beginning, I went to the meetings. I liked what I heard. I gotta admit that. But there were certain people that were dynamic speakers that told of jackpots, and I, in some ways, it almost made me think I didn't belong there because I had no jackpots in my life, none. I've had people make comments, but no trouble with the law, nothing. I always had a good job. Uh, I always had more money than I needed to drink, so I wasn't stealing from anyone. But I got to that low inside me where I didn't like myself, and that was my low point where I couldn't stand being me. Uh, but I was just very selfish, always thinking about the drink, how to get it, and many times trying to figure out how to hide that I was drinking from others, but they could tell when I was drunk. And never a thought of helping anyone else. In fact, a really resentment of others. I think that if I had had a license, I didn't get a license to drive till I was 26 because I really didn't need a car. I think that if I had got a license before that, I would have been in a very terrible jackpot. But I didn't have a license, and I wasn't one of those guys that drove without a license. I didn't. I took a bus. I worked in a local. Wow, my voice changed. Worked in the local area, and I really didn't need. I had a grocery store like 100 feet from my house. I mean, a big grocery store, not one of these little mom and pop things. Uh, I lived where there were other, department stores right near my house. So whenever I wanted to get anything, I was right there. I could walk, and but I always thought of myself like. To the point where I excluded doing things that I should have done. Uh, I always got in trouble with my taxes, and I always got in trouble with paying bills. And you say, well, you just said you had a good paying job. I did. I did. I had a very good paying job. And For part of the time, I worked for a bank, but I don't feel like paying it. Or, with my taxes, they owed me money once. And I figured in my alcoholic mind, well, I'll do them a favor. They won't have to process my tax return, so I didn't send in a tax return. I didn't hear from the federal government on it, but I did hear from a lady from the state, and I told her my thinking, and she said, "How old are you?" I said, 22. She says, "You cannot just not send in your taxes, even if we owe you money." So she practically filled the form out for me, and I did send it in, and then I sent in the federal tax. But it was just stupidity on my part, acting like a jerk and thinking I could get away with things and liking to aggravate people. But this, right at the beginning of the big book, shows the importance of helping others, trying to help them meet their needs. And it's exactly true. Would that newcomer welcome someone to talk to? Well, my first couple of meetings, I wanted to take it in, and I didn't want anyone to talk to me. Uh, I just wanted to sit in the back, and this girl Denise came up to me, and she says, "Hi, how you doing? My name's Denise. What's your name?" She says, "Oh, you've never been to a meeting?" She says, "We have." I don't know how we knew it, but we got a place right up here. My mind was so addled that I sat in the front at her invitation. She told me they knew that I was coming. I'm trying to think, did I tell anyone that I'm coming to a meeting? And so that's how it worked. And then at halftime, when they had the cigarette break, they used to have those. Uh, I went to the beginners meeting, and I liked that because there were a lot of new people like me who didn't understand what was going on, and a very gracious guy running the beginners meeting. And we read the first step. Every single week, we read the first step. John Barleycorn, rapacious creditor, all those terms that I can remember now. And I went to that beginners meeting for, I don't know, 6 months or so. And I got to the point where I didn't shy away from people coming up to me. And I got to know names, right after the first week. It was very tough. That's what I feel bad about when I meet someone and I can't remember their name. And when you get introduced to 50 people in one night, it's very difficult, at least for me. And I try to say, you know, get some kind of feature of this so I can try to remember their name. But when you get overwhelmed with so many people, it's not very easy. But then gradually, like I come in and I'd say, "Oh, that's Moses over there. I remember him, and that's Daniel, and there's Denise." And so eventually, I got to know everybody that went to the meeting, and I felt better. I felt better. And after 6 months, I was invited to speak. I thought I had a lot to say. I'll tell them everything they need to know. And when I got up there, I froze up. And it's a good thing there was another speaker because I cut it short. My mind was just going a mile a minute, and my first attempt at speaking wasn't that good. Yeah, I'd say after about a year, I was okay. I didn't get that nervous. I figured, hey, we're all in this together. We're all a bunch of drunks, which is what a lot of the people said, but I didn't like it when they said it. And so I did get cheered up by a lot of people. People would come over and say something, and we'd laugh. And, I had the mobility problem. not so much at the beginning, but later when I go to a new meeting, I'd have the king, let me go get you a cup of coffee. What do you like in it? And it was all very nice. And I really treasure the meetings that I can get to. I have to really go uh, during the day or afternoon when it's light out. Florida does not have very good street lighting. They have them on the corners, and that's about it. So it's tough for me to see at night, especially if it's a new meeting I haven't been to before. So I either ask for a ride, and or I just limit myself to day meetings. But it's nice to think of others and be thought of by others. The one thing that I didn't want when I went to that first meeting, I wanted to be alone, but God's changed me in a better way, and I'm very grateful for it. So have a good, safe, and sober December 13th. Christmas draws clear. It's less than 2 weeks now, and God bless.